Hello, join me on the adventure, and welcome to the Mysterious Adventures Podcast. I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awijan. Mysterious Adventures is on all of your favorite podcasting apps. I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. And if there's any app out there that you'd like this show to be on that it's not on there right now, let me know if you can. PaladinoLive@yahoo.com. PaladinoLive@yahoo.com. I would have liked to have recorded this one in you can call it the quote-unquote studio, but we're going mobile today. And I guess maybe it's for the best in another way, because this one is all about being mobile in so many ways. This episode is fairly anticipated, as I've told a few friends about it coming into it. An event that took place last Saturday that definitely had some creepy aspects to it, because this is something that had been kind of leading towards the event for the last month as we enter the void. Oh, yes. That song has some significance, believe it or not. More than you'd think it should. Well, it is from the NES game Final Fantasy III, the original version of Final Fantasy III on the Nintendo that came out back in 1990. Not the Final Fantasy III that came out in the United States that turned out to be Final Fantasy VI. Nope, it's one that never came to the United States. It was considered a very, very hard game. So this is kind of the beginning of the story, basically. It was a very, very, very hard game. And as I was, just kind of hanging out at home, I don't know if I was playing a video game probably, or listening to podcasts, kind of what I do when I'm not working, or maybe I was doing chores in the house, that type of thing. Just this thought process came on me. This was around December-ish, mid to late December-ish, basically is when this all started, leading up to last weekend, February the 8th, around 5 p.m.-ish, maybe slightly before, right? So there's your storyline, the beginning to the quote-unquote end, I guess you could say, of the void. Yeah. You notice how creepy that music song was, even if it's, in its 8-bit Nintendo splendor. Well, here's the thing. So suddenly this thought came on me. I want to, Final Fantasy III for the Japanese Final Fantasy III was considered, the last boss was considered insanely hard, right? Insanely hard, man, it's almost like this unbeatable game. I want to go on YouTube and see what it's like. And then when I found a video talking about the last boss or whatever, it's going to show the last boss, but it's the part before the last boss. They're standing around this, this creepy looking aura type thing, basically where the last boss in the game is. And that creepy song is playing. And it's just like, oh, that's interesting. I always wonder where the heck that was from, because I remember when I would, because I have soundtracks of, NES games, Super Nintendo games, Sega Genesis, all that kind of stuff on this cool app called it's called SNES Music, I believe. It's on the Apple device. Right now I'm using an Android device, a brand new Samsung S25 Plus to record this. So it's the first ever recording on this brand new phone. Hopefully the audio is good. Again, apologize that things are mobile. Yes, it is called SNES Music, but you can put on, all these other games, all these other different game systems, and it'll be like the whole soundtrack. It's like a zip file that kind of opens up on there, basically. And I always used to hear that song, and I'm like, I always wonder where that is in the game. Well, apparently it's right before the last boss. You're like the end of this creepy, creepy last level of the game. I've never played the game far enough in to get there. Of course, it's a very hard and complicated game, believe it or not, even though it's an NES game. No, it's a lot more complicated than people want to admit. And then it's like, that song's creepy. And then I get in my car at night. And I've been noticing the same area for the longest time, even way before. The same area, Golden Valley, Minnesota. You could call it the Hampshire neighborhood, basically. I'm at Hampshire Park right now as I'm recording this. I like to be by the park as I'm recording usually. And it's like, as I'm driving through these streets, I won't say the name of the streets because probably shouldn't. It's probably not the smartest idea. But you can kind of guess. They're close by. They're around here. But not quite here. They're a little bit south of here. Just a couple blocks south of here. And it's like when you're driving there at night, especially on a clear night, but it could be any night. A clear night, it could be a foggy night like it was on December 26, 27, around then. It looked pretty creepy then, too. But especially as you're driving to the south at the time, towards the south at the time, I was like, why does this look so creepy? Why does this look like it's like 1870, 1880, 1890? Why am I imagining horses? Cluck, 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 cluck. Horse and carriage just kind of going down this creepy old looking road. Why do I have this weird vibe here? It just looks weird. And then you continue and it's just, wow, it really does look old. But then there's another block that looks even creepier. And I mean, really creepy stuff. It just looked weird. A little bit further to the east. But then the ultimate one is the ultimate of all, where I noticed what I call the void. It has to be nighttime for the true effect to take place, but I just get goosebumps thinking about it. It has to be nighttime, though. You're driving in from, we'll say, Douglas Drive. Yeah, okay, that's an actual road. You're going westbound and from Douglas Drive onto this other road, driving to the west, right? Like I just said, heading into that creepy area. But it's like you can't see anything ahead after about a block or two because the road kind of does a really strange diagonal movement. And there's an area that just at nighttime, it has this creepiness to it that looks what I call as the void. Like there's nothing there. There's nothing there. And it's insanely creepy looking. You get close to it, okay, it's kind of like a wooded area. And then eventually there's houses inside. There's houses like several feet in. It's like a really large front yardish area that kind of turns into like like part of this park. It's a different park. It's not Hampshire Park. It's another one very close by. So there's actually two parks pretty close to each other. So whatever. Creepiest thing ever. And then this thought goes in my head, play that song. And as you're going forward and that song is playing, let me tell you. But also going in the other direction like I was talking about where it looks like it's 1800s. Why does this area creep me out so much? And then I started getting goosebumps as I kept driving through there. Not just that day, but like the next day, or like a couple of days later, or the next weekend, or something like that. And it's like, man, this area is creepy. And it's like, why does this 2 or 3 block type area just have this weird vibe? Like creepy as heck. Creepy. Like and there's also this little thing called Bassett's Creek. If you're familiar with the Twin Cities a bit, the Bassett's Creek goes through that area, and it's in that specific area Bassett's Creek is. And it's like, so what happened here? Did something creepy happen here many years ago, or over the course of several years were creepy things taking place? And in the same area, there's this really weird looking house, very close by, not one of them in the woods, but across the street, kind of, sort of, not even across the street. It's kind of in the same general area. Creepy looking house. It's beyond the void though. Yeah, it's that next creepy street basically, if that makes any sense. Creepy looking house. And they have one of those lights, you have the little posts that you have, lamp post type things that stick off your house at nighttime. This one has that look where it's kind of got that pretend looking fire look. So it just adds to the creepiness for some reason. Like generally I think those are cool, but on that house, it's a different vibe. I have no other information on that house about who lives there, what activities go on there, but it just gives you a weird vibe. And as I was driving around that area, one of the nights, this is just another random event that took place. Nothing too bad, but it almost seemed as if somebody was walking next to the car for like a millisecond. Was it just a reflection from one of the lights, nearby, the street lights or something? But it was the creepy. I was like, oh my God, did I almost hit something? No, there's nobody there though. And it was like the corner of your eye type of thing. It might have just been a reflection. I don't know. So was it a paranormal event? I have no idea. So no idea what to say about that. But I just would always drive through there. Man, look at that. The void. Look at this. The void. And I even showed, I tried to show my wife. And the whole time she's just kind of looking at her phone, not listening to me, not listening to me. Oh, yeah. Oh, that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then just not interested. No, I'm overwhelmed with, you just keep talking or whatever. When I wasn't hardly saying anything, she would just keep changing the subject to some other nonsense or whatever else she was doing. So, whatever. And then I got back in the car and kept being curious about it, which in my opinion is a big mistake. You probably will agree with me as things continue to take place over the course of time. Sorry, this is locked. Hopefully you're still recording here just to make dang sure. Yes. Okay. Continuing. So, I just kept doing that and kept playing that creepy song, that same creepy song, The Void. Yes. You want to hear it again, shall we? I think it's a creepy song. I'm guessing you would agree with that. I think it sounds creepy, and it fits so perfectly with this void. Like every time I kept driving up, and then why is it so creepy to me? Why do I get goosebumps when I come by here? And it's only this specific area, not just the void, but like kind of the area around it, kind of surrounding area. It's about a 2 or 3 block radius, like I was talking about. Creepy as that. It has this 1800s-ish look, like, I don't know, just maybe weird things happened there 100 plus years ago. Or it's all just my imagination, which is very possible. Or there's a demonic presence there, which wouldn't surprise me one bit when you consider, as the story continues, there's something isn't right. Something isn't right about it. Okay, well, the events, should I get into the events of Friday the 8th? No, Saturday, February the 8th. Just kind of a casual day. My mom just gave me a cute little check, tiny little amount of money. My nephew, Max, was there also. We were blowing off the driveway. It had snowed earlier in the day. Everything's cool. It was fun. We're just going to do that. And then I'm going to come back and have dinner at my parents' house, right? So she gives me this little check, and I was going to mail some envelopes for them as well. That's all I had to do, right? That's all I had to do is, mail the checks and go to the bank, which are right by each other. The post office, maybe a couple blocks away, like not from my parents' house, but we're all in Golden Valley. But see, they're like, say, we could call it South Golden Valley. I'm kind of like northwestish Golden Valley, basically. They're like southeastish. So it's like the opposite side of Golden Valley, which is not a very large suburb. It's nothing like Bloomington or anything. It's pretty small if you lived here. Unfortunately, I won't get into that other topic. That's for freedom of thought. But let's just say I don't agree with the politics around here. That's all I got to say about that. So nudge, nudge, hint, hint. I don't. Yeah. So that's all I had to do. Go to the maybe drop off the envelopes, deposit the check, and then just maybe, I don't know, go back home and record a podcast. Like, yeah, that's what I was going to do. Record a little bit on Video Game Flashback. Maybe even do something fun with Mysterious Adventures, which I was kind of planning on doing. That instead of just kind of doing that, putting in that section of the Giants conversation, episode 1. Hope that turned out okay, by the way. So that I was thinking, I was going to do that eventually, and I will do the aliens one eventually, where it's going to kind of be, taken from Freedom of Thought episode, like a section of it taken out of that episode and put in a Mysterious Adventures episode, because it belongs over here. Doggone it. It absolutely does. That's probably why I didn't do so great, because I think listeners should hear some of what needs to be said on some of those Freedom of Thought episodes, that maybe the audience on that show is probably not as interested in it as maybe you guys are, because you came to Mysterious Adventures to hear about mysterious adventures, and I do think this void absolutely is a mysterious adventure, especially when you consider it's a personal event that took place with the actual host himself right here, and it is brand new. This isn't something that happened many years ago. Oh, I'll have some stuff to talk about there too in the future episodes. Hint, hint, little appetizer there. Back to the current events. Okay, again, like I just said, just mail the stinking envelopes at the Golden Valley Post Office, a few blocks away. Wells Fargo. Yeah, I bank with Wells Fargo. 1 me and 1 billion other people, right? Gonna put it in the ATM and then come back and maybe do some video game flashback or mysterious adventures. Instead, first, for whatever stupid frickin' reason that I'll never understand to this day, and I probably never understand forever, other than it might have been some kind of influence from outside sources that are probably not real good. I just felt drawn to that area. Yeah, and it wasn't nighttime or anything, but I felt drawn to that area. And it was a beautiful, beautiful Saturday afternoon. The sun's shining just like it is right now. It's kind of like a similar thing, even though it's like it was kind of delayed for the sun to come in this time around, even though the snow was earlier this weekend. Similar weekend in terms of we got snow. Kind of funny. So back-to-back weekends with some snow. But yesterday I actually worked. That's otherwise I would have recorded this in the studio yesterday, but I had to work yesterday. So it's one of those wonderful 6-day weeks that we all just love so much. We just love it, don't we? Well, yeah, I know. Got to make a living, but it's still not real fun. We're doing that. But anyhow, let's rather make a living doing this, if you don't mind. Help. If it could be that simple. But I just felt drawn to that area again. Even though it was kind of still daytime, it's getting a little bit later in the winter now. The daylight is getting a little longer. We're getting later sunsets, earlier sunrises. Thank you, Lord. Praise the Lord for that. Not afraid to say I'm a Christian here on Mysterious Adventures, obviously, because this has some Christian value to it, I would hope. Drawn to that area. Just drawn to that area. And generally speaking, again, enjoying the scenery, driving slowly around. And then I drive down that block that leads towards, that street that leads towards the Void, as I like to call it. And then as I'm driving down, not going real fast at all, maybe like a standard speed, obviously not speeding. There's no stop sign on either side of the intersection, either direction, any of the 4 ways you could say it is a 4-way intersection. But I'm just, I don't know, like the Void. There's the Void. But it's not a void. It's just kind of like a grove leading to houses and stuff. But it still has that interesting look. Why am I drawn to this place instead of just going to this stupid bank and moving on with the evening here? So I could go have dinner with my parents, which I still did. But definitely a different vibe after the event. A white car. We'll just say a white car. That's all I got to say. A white car, I believe a Japanese built. That's all you need to know. Suddenly starts coming quickly from the left side as I'm staring straight towards that Void area, but a white car starts coming faster than he should be from the left side. I still had the right of way. I was still in that general area first. And I figured, I better hurry up and get out of his way. But the guy never slowed down. Ever. Never veered out of the way or anything. And went headlong into my rear driver's side door. Shattered the window. Apparently I didn't realize what had happened at the time, but I don't know, with the impact, I had smashed into the wall of the car, my car. Injuries minimal, but kind of irritating, like an ache. So don't feel sorry too much for me about injuries, but it still feels weird and it's still kind of sore even a week later. It's like that I slept on it wrong feeling. I don't think it's an actual major injury, but it's hurt a little bit. We'll put it that way. But where did the impact happen and where was my car resting? The Void. The Void. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The Void. Exactly on the exact spot where the beginning of the Void is. Exact spot. Are you telling me there wasn't some kind of demonic influence through with all of this? There was. There had to have been, because it's impossible for it not to be something like that. Some kind of demonic distraction for this to take place. drawing me to that exact spot and that exact time when that goofball wanted to go faster than he needed to go because let's just say he's working for one of those Lyft company. Yeah, it's working for Lyft. Yeah. And yeah, let's just say the person's working for Lyft. That's all you need to know. I mean, because that's what it is. So they're probably in a hurry to pick up somebody. They don't live around the area. The amazing miracle part about all this is at that beginning of the void, which might be a miracle side, like God working against this enemy, so to speak, that drew me to that exact spot at that exact stupid time, basically. And obviously the obsession of that area is what drew me there in general as well. There's a dip in the road, just in that magical little spot. So maybe, just maybe, by God's grace, there might be less damage. And the fact that it only hit the door. So it might be only just one thing, obviously the glass, but a new door, a new used door, how they do that, because it's a 12-year-old car that I have, a 12-year-old Honda Accord that I have. It might be just one major part, and that's it. So by God's grace, hopefully that's all that happened. The fact that things dipped down and that his car went higher into the door instead of lower, where it could have maybe did some frame damage and could have been a really bad damage to the car. So there's that. That might be the miracle side of things a bit here. As the guy, I remember the guy when I took it into the when it was time to take the car into the shop for the estimates, because to estimates and then they relay it back to the insurance company. That this impact on the car, the dent, the damage on the car, he was like, it only hit the door. How is that? That's almost like a miracle. He was like, wow. And the fact that it's higher, too, that it probably most likely didn't damage the lower area as much. So hopefully not at all. It looks like there's a little dent down there, but it's nothing like, oh, my God, the car's bleeped, blankety blank, the car's done. The other guy's car might be done. I don't know. And I'm praying for him every day. Latino guy who needed a translator. We understood each other just fine, but to get into detailed conversation, you know how that works. Like, your English is okay, but to get into detailed conversations about things, you need a Spanish person. So the person I was talking to already spoke Spanish, so that was perfect. So it was like a bilingual person, apparently. So that worked out nicely. Nice guy, looked very sad, kind of like semi-devastated a little bit, and I'm praying for him. So just pray for him. Let's just say his name is let's just call him Galarraga, like Andres Galarraga. Just pray for Andres Galarraga. I'm just saying that, but the prayers go to him, if you want. So do that if you could, if you with your Christian faith, pray for him, wish him the best, because it sounds like his car is probably something that you make money with, just like, with me with doing DoorDash in the past. That would be devastating to get in an accident when I'm trying to do a DoorDash. Like, it's the last thing you want. You need to make your dang income. So there was that. Also, I'd like to believe the Lord, because I prayed and prayed, because I tried to put a bag on to cover the window. It just flew out in 10 seconds. And then I said, Lord, help me to figure out something here. And then I went on YouTube, and then pardon me, by God's grace, there was a YouTube video that came up with the idea of this guy. I'm not sure where he's from, but this guy maybe semi close to my age, pretty cool guy, had this idea. You take this clear packaging tape and just go strip by strip by strip by strip by strip. You know how it'll attach to the one previous, like from, say, right to left, left to right. I did right to left. Left to right. Sorry, left to right. Strip by strip by strip, about 50% of each strip kind of connecting to the previous one, so on and so forth. And it like creates like a nice blind without being blind. You know what I mean? And it stayed the whole week, because I wasn't, everything wasn't ready to rock and roll with, the appointment and everything, because they needed to get the part in. They wanted me to bring the car in when the part came, because why have a rental car 3 or 4 days extra and just pay out of your pocket potentially? So that would be kind of dumb, even though it'd be nicer to have the rental car, but to have that really nice tape that lasted from Sunday afternoon all the way to Friday morning. A minor miracle, especially in a freezing cold time of year with some wind. So that was really cool. And obviously that's another positive side of this story. The whole Void thing, though, Obviously, I prayed over the area saying, yes, I mean, be gone, evil spirits, basically, in Jesus' name. And I kept saying it and saying it, but like with more detailed prayer, that type of thing. And a situation like that, my goodness, I mean, that is horrifying to think that all of that strange obsession I had to driving in that area and playing that creepy song led to the event. So that clearly was a demonic presence there, or demonic influence of some sorts. Something, or some things, some legion of some things were influencing the whole thing. And it all kind of happened over the course of about a month. Went from nothing, just a creepy little area in my imagination or whatever, the void. And then it led to that. And the fact that it happened on the exact spot. That's what's so fascinating about this mysterious adventure. It is a very mysterious adventure indeed. So, obviously, what more do I have to say about this? Again, if you run into any type of situation like that, pray and pray a lot. That's all I got to say about that. Obviously, you know, everybody has their opinions on things, but I am not ashamed to say I am a strong born-again Christian. So I will definitely continue to pray if I drive by that area at any point. I have no real need to drive by there, and I don't really want to anytime soon. It's creepy, it's unnecessary, and I don't know. It's incredible. That night, Super Bowl night, you know, go Eagles. Glad they were able to get that done, because I think we were all getting tired of the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe some of you listening wanted the Chiefs to win. Well, I don't know. I wasn't with you that night. Sorry. Not a big fan. Not a big fan. I'd rather see the Eagles get it done, just because. Plus I felt bad for the Eagles, how close they came just 2 years ago. But I hung out with my friend Paul that night. Paul Tuniverse Caniff. Yes, in case he's listening. Hope you're listening, my friend. Paul Caniff. He'll be, yep. And I showed him that, and I played the song, and he was like, that's, you know, he's a man of not too many words. You know, obviously he's a little bit on the shyer side. You know, he can definitely talk. He just, you know, sometimes doesn't want to say too much about things, but when he does have an opinion about something, he'll let you know. And that's what I appreciate very much. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's really eerie. He said, very eerie. Like when I asked him, what did you think about the story? I drove through the void. I showed it to him, or the block that led up to the void. I played the music, told him the whole story. And then, of course, that's where the accident happened, because we were driving in the damaged car at the time, because it was just a day later. It was just a day later. It was the day before the Super Bowl that it happened. It was literally it was like 24 hours when maybe 24 hours and 30 minutes basically before the Super Bowl started, pretty much. So, yep, my friend Paul came over coming in from northeast Minneapolis area. Really cool area, actually. Really nice part of northeast Minneapolis, not north. His mom still lives here in Golden Valley. This is where we first met way back in the day, in the late 90s. So, yep, right after high school, me and Paul met and became friends. So, yep, really cool guy, of course. And, yeah, I told him the story, and now I'm sharing it with you with the song and the details. And if you don't think that's a mysterious adventure of some sort, I don't know. We probably aren't going to agree on that. It's a mysterious adventure. It's very, very mysterious. Right now, I am sitting inside a white, that's the other ironic part, another white car. Oh, creepy. Yes, that scared me. I thought it was the same car, but obviously a much newer version. So, like rental cars, I swear they're the ultimate form of advertisement. They are. I'm sitting in this Nissan Altima 2025 and thinking, I wouldn't mind one of these. Because it's a lot quieter than my Honda Accord. It's a lot quieter. It just feels like a smoother drive. The Honda Accord's a bigger car, a little bit, all of that. It's like the bigger brother type of thing, just like the Nissan Altima potentially could be. So we'll see. Let's just say my nephews are not in love with the engines on these cars because of just things, you know, how this happens, that kind of thing. So we'll see. I'm not going to be getting a new car anytime soon. God willing. I don't think they're going to tell me my car's totaled. No, I mean, I was afraid of that at first. The other guy, he might get that awful message. And I got it once with the Skylark years ago. That was a bummer. Because it's like, even when a car gets older and the damage gets to the frame, even though it doesn't look like much, the cost would be beyond the value of the car. And then it's technically, it's called totaled. So it's game over, basically. You can keep it, but you won't, the coverage won't be the same anymore. So that's the crappy part. That's just kind of how that goes. And and also you probably won't get the fair value in return to repair the car. You're just going to get what's the value of the car. Like imagine the damage was 10,000 or 8,000. I'm just imagining that's way up there in the moon. But yeah, okay, it's like a $5,000 or $6,000 damage, but the car's only worth 3,000 total. You just get the 3,000. You probably have the car taken away, and then maybe they fix it up a bit and sell it later, or give it up for parts, that type of thing. So who knows what happened to the poor thing way back in 2010. So hard to believe 2010 is as long ago as it is, but a couple years later I was able to get the Honda Accord after having an old beat up Grand Prix for a couple of years. As an old beat up but fun car for a few years. But yeah, I've had the Honda Accord ever since 2014, so it's been nice to have. But this Nissan Altima, what a smooth drive. What a smooth one. I know you don't necessarily want to hear about that necessarily, about Joey's rental car. Gee, thanks for sharing, Joey. But, it's all part of the story, and it is ironic. I was like, oh my gosh, a white car of all things, too. So it's just kind of funny how it all kind of ties together. So if there's any type of other testimony to give about the story, like miracle type of thing, like the aftermath, I'll throw in like a minute or two of it in episode 3 of Mysterious Adventures, maybe at the very beginning. So yeah, it was a little scary, but and I was sitting in the car saying, "You idiot, Joey! Why didn't you just go to this stupid bank? Why didn't you just go to the bank? Why didn't you just go to the mailbox?" So, and then it was kind of like the whole. I posted on Facebook like, how many times in your life do you wish you could just press rewind or reset on a situation, be it a couple minutes or whatever? Like I didn't put that part, so now I screwed up. People might be thinking like you wish you could start your whole life over. No, even a couple minutes, like 5 minutes before, just press reset. Like in a video game, oh, I crashed. Okay, reset. Oh, I crashed again. Oh, reset. And in real life, well, sorry, that's split second. That's split stinking second. Everything changes and you're screwed. And it's just, the car was drivable. Thankfully, his was as well. Mr. Andres Galarraga, we'll call his name, because I'm thinking of the old baseball star that used to hit some homers for the Colorado Rockies, Atlanta Braves, teams like that. Guy could really hit. So, yeah, I'm just calling him that name because, heck of a, he was a nice guy, the person that the event took place, unfortunately. So at least he wasn't like an evil, mean person. But maybe a little neglectful. I don't know. So we'll see what happens with all of that. With everything said, I think I've given you the story now. I don't want to babble on too much. Where we're going into the next episode, I have no idea right now. But there's all kinds of different avenues we could go. I've got a lot of things to say about AI. I think it's very creepy. I think there may be a demonic influence into that as well, especially certain storylines that we've heard. Yeah, I have some theories on a lot of that, and I won't say what it is, but I almost let the cat out of the bag a little bit. But I was always wondering about that certain thing that I won't say. Certain things that I've always wondered, and maybe, just maybe, that might be like the Lord answering my question a long time ago. So with all of that said, we'll see what we get into next on Mysterious Adventures. I'll try to stay as non-political as possible. We'll keep my political conversation on the freedom of thought, and of course, sports conversation, generally speaking, on my sports podcasts and video game podcasts as well. I'll probably do a review on Video Game Flashback someday. Yes, I am a insane podcaster. I podcast a lot. I really love doing it. Just wish I could make a living doing it, but it's something I really enjoy. I hope you don't mind. I hope you don't think I'm just some kind of a weirdo, some kind of a nerd who is minimally talented, who just, maybe he's got a couple stories to tell, but he's not that good at it. Well, let me know what you think. All the different possibilities to get to interact with the show. I would love to hear from you one way or another. I know some of the freedom of thought people have come over, and others, so, and welcome aboard. And anybody new, really wonderful to hear from you. Really wonderful that you're listening, and hope to hear from you anytime. The Facebook page, it's Mysterious Adventures. The Instagram, all of the links are in the show description. I do believe Mysterious Adventures, I forget what it is. I forget if it's just one word. I don't think it is. I'm going to pull it up. Yes. Okay. Mysterious Adventures 79. That's the year I was born. And then My Adventures 79, I believe, is the Twitter or X. I do believe. I just want to make 100% sure. That way you could look it up and follow right away. Okay. Yeah, Yes, it does say My Adventures, doesn't it? I'm looking at it. Yes, My Adventures 79. So, like mysterious. So that's kind of how I ended up doing it. Because Mysterious Adventures actually wouldn't fit on X, even though you can put more characters in your tweets or posts. I guess they're called X posts. But the actual names, they can't be too long. So that's kind of what's going on there. There's also a TikTok, which is just paladino.live, which connects all my shows in one place. So, and a YouTube as well, Paladino Live Productions, which again puts all my shows in one place. So eventually I'll probably do some video action, which could go on any of these, basically any social media thing there is out there. You can go video, you can go live, or just post videos. So I'll probably be doing some of that in the future, especially with this show, because, looking at what I think could be mounds, what could maybe some incredible artifact that, somehow I come across that's shocking. I'm sure, who knows where this adventure is going to take us someday. Maybe I'll actually travel finally, because I don't travel a whole lot. I'm kind of not a big traveler. I'm kind of hang out around, but I mean, I love doing my research and getting into conversations and such. So with all of that said, would love to hear from you. PaladinoLive@yahoo.com is an email. You can send an audio submission there as well if you want to get on the show that way. Obviously, you can email that way and interact with me on any of the social media conglomerates that are out there. Would love to hear from you. Please put a 5-star rating if you could on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other app that allows you to do so. Share the show with your friends. Please, 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 please. Your friends and followers and colleagues. With that said, take care. God bless. And we'll see you on the next adventure.